All right, let's dive in. Today, we're cracking open the toolbox for one of the most fascinating areas in data science, natural language processing, or NLP. We're going to look at the key Python libraries that let you take messy, raw text and turn it into some really powerful insights.
So, let's set the scene. You are a pro with data. You can navigate databases with your eyes closed. You know your way around neat rows and columns. But then, you get hit with a totally different kind of challenge. Thousands of customer reviews, a huge pile of news articles, a constant stream of social media posts. It's just words. It doesn't fit neatly into a table. Where in the world do you even start?
That is the exact question we are tackling today. Here's our game plan. We'll start by looking at that jump from clean tables to messy text. Then, we'll check out the toolkits you need, first for getting the data in shape, then for actually understanding it. We'll even walk through some of your first basic NLP tasks. And, to wrap it all up, we'll help you figure out which library is the right one for you.
Okay, first things first, we really need to get our heads around the huge shift in the data itself. We're leaving the comfortable world of predictable structures and stepping into the wild, complex world of human language. So, what's the real difference here? Well, the data you're probably used to is all about those neat rows and columns. It's predictable. You can query it with SQL. Simple. Text, on the other hand, it's made of free-flowing sentences. It can be ambiguous, it's messy, it's varied. You can't just run a simple query and expect to find what you're looking for. And that's the whole challenge. We need a completely new set of tools to bring some order to this chaos. So before we can even begin to understand what all this language means, we have to wrestle it into a format that a computer can actually work with. This is where our data manipulation toolkit comes into play. You can think of this as all the essential prep work.
So how do we get this unruly text into shape? We start with what I like to call the foundational trio. First up is numpy, which is the absolute workhorse for any kind of heavy-duty number crunching. But for us, the real star of the show is pandas. This is the library that builds the bridge from our text files to a table-like structure that feels familiar and manageable. And finally, there's scipy, which kind of sits on top of numpy and gives us access to some more advanced scientific tools if we need them.
And this right here, this is probably the most important idea for anyone coming from a database background. A pandas data frame literally acts as a bridge. It takes that chaotic mess of text on one side and organizes it into a clean, structured format on the other that will feel incredibly familiar to you. And here is what that bridge actually looks like in action. This is a pandas data frame. It should look super familiar, right? It's basically a database table, complete with rows and columns that have names. Once we get our text into this format, we can start to clean it, sort it, and work with it programmatically, just like we would with any other kind of structured data. This is the absolute crucial first step.
Okay, great. Our data is now organized. But now what? We need a specialized set of tools to actually figure out what the language means. This is where the real NLP magic starts to happen.
All right, my text is sitting pretty in a data frame. But how do I figure out if a customer review is positive or negative? Or how do I pull out all the names of people mentioned in an article? Well, for that, we turn to the NLP powerhouses. On this slide, you'll see some of the biggest names in the game, and each one has its own special talents. Let's break them down.
We'll kick things off with a true classic, NLTK, the Natural Language Toolkit. You should think of this one as a huge academic library. It's incredibly comprehensive, and it's fantastic if you're doing research or if you really want to learn the nuts and bolts of how language processing works. It gives you all the fundamental building blocks.
Now, NLTK is powerful, for sure, but it can be a little intense, especially when you're just starting. So, is there an easier way? Oh, absolutely. If NLTK is the giant academic library, then TextBlob is the friendly, simple interface built right on top of it. It makes common jobs ridiculously easy. You want to find the sentiment of a sentence? With TextBlob, that's often just a single line of code. Okay, so NLTK is for learning, and TextBlob is for quick and easy tasks. But what if I need to build something for a real-world application? Something that's got to be fast and super reliable? Well, that's where SpaCy shines. It's modern, it's fast, and it was built from the ground up for production-level speed and accuracy. If you're building a chatbot or analyzing text in real time, SpaCy is the industry-grade tool you want.
But what if your goal is totally different? What if you're not looking at single sentences, but you want to find the hidden themes in thousands of documents? For that, you need a specialist. Gensim is the undisputed champion of topic modeling and document similarity.
It helps you answer those really big picture questions. And while those are the big four, you should also know about others like Pattern, which is great for web mining, and the Stanford Core NLP, a powerhouse that's a huge staple in academic research.
So we've seen all the tools, but what can we actually do with them? Let's make this really practical and look at the first few steps you'd probably take on any new NLP project. It's time to get our hands dirty.
So where does a beginner start? It usually begins with a simple 3-step cleanup workflow. First up is tokenization, which is just a fancy word for chopping up a sentence into individual words. Next is stop word removal. Here we get rid of all the common, boring words like the, is, and that just add noise. And finally, vectorization, which is the really crucial step of turning our clean words into numbers so a machine learning model can actually understand them.
Let's see this in action. Here's a sample sentence we might be working with. Just notice, it's got punctuation and it has a few of those common words we talked about, like is, about, and and.
And here's what you're left with after just a couple of those steps. See that? The words is and about are gone. This super simple process helps us focus only on the words that carry the most meaning: book, deep learning, and natural language processing. It's a fundamental step in pretty much any kind of text analysis. Wow, we have covered a ton of ground. So let's bring it all home with a quick and easy guide to help you pick the perfect tool for whatever job you have in mind. This slide right here is your cheat sheet. Seriously, if you're just starting out or you're deep in academic research, begin with NLTK. For quick projects, maybe some rapid prototyping, TextBlob is your best friend. When you're ready to build a serious, high-performance, real-world application, you're going to want to grab SpaCy. And if your main goal is to uncover hidden topics and huge collections of documents, Gensim is the specialist you need to call.
So, there you have it. The path from that chaotic, unstructured text all the way to structured, meaningful insight. You now have the foundational toolkit to get started. The only question left is, what mysteries are buried in language data that you're going to be the first to solve?
Hey, if you found this explainer helpful, do us a favor and hit the like and share buttons, and be sure to subscribe for more deep dives into complex topics just like this one. Thanks so much for joining us.